Title: Whispering Shadows of the Abandoned House. The world outside my window painted a quiet picture, a tapestry of tranquil mountains, dense woodland creating a wall of muted greens and browns, and a chilling November mist clinging stubbornly to the earth. But for the past few weeks, my eyes were relentlessly drawn to a single source of unease in the distance: the house next door. It had been there ever since my parents moved us to West Virginia, a hulking wooden structure set back from the dirt road, standing vacant and waiting in a state of decay for as long as I could remember. The first time I noticed it, my mother and I were unpacking boxes. I peeked out of what would become my bedroom window, and there it was, the sagging veranda, the weathered siding covered in patches of black mold, the windows like dark, vacant eyes staring back with an emotionless gaze. My father said it had been empty for nearly a decade, a hollow monument to the family who once lived there, known only through the ghost stories whispered by local kids at the school bus stop. Murdered, my classmates would breathe, their eyes darting nervously, every last one of them, slaughtered in their sleep. Each retelling added grotesque, spectral details that blurred the lines between fiction and truth. The hushed tales were typically followed by a chuckle too hollow to disguise their own youthful fear. The unease began subtly, like a chill down the spine on a warm day. The house would periodically murmur with the wind, a series of creaks and groans that came alive particularly at night. At first, I dismissed it as the wood trying to settle back from years of neglect. But there was a night, a few weeks back, when I heard the distinct sound of movement. It was past midnight, and I was wrestling with sleep when the familiar groaning commenced. Stepping quietly to the window, I pulled the curtain back just enough to prevent any light from escaping, my eyes straining against the darkness. Then I saw it, a sliver of light, a soft, flickering glow moving through the bushes, coming from around the side of the house. My heart stumbled in my chest. The light danced sporadically, illuminating the outline of the dying lawn and a figure, hooded and obscured, gliding just at the border of what my eyes could capture. It seemed to drift towards the back entrance, like a memory slipping back into the unnoticed crevices of a mind. I tried to wake my parents, my voice a panicked whisper in the night, but they attributed it to my overactive imagination spurred by too many midnight horror movies. Still, the memory of that light lingered, flitting behind my eyelids every time I tried to sleep. Over the following days, the sensations intensified. During the daytime, I began to feel a tangible pull whenever I walked by the house, as though its eerie gravity could inch its way into my existence. The wind carried soft whispers, not the howling gusts that rushed through the woods, but something faint, like echoes trapped in a porous stone. I was drawn inexorably to it one gray, lifeless afternoon. As if directed by an unseen puppeteer, my feet steered me over to the dilapidated threshold. With each step, the backyard seemed to elongate, distorting distances with each heartbeat. Drawing closer, I hesitated, a mixture of fear and reckless curiosity urging me forward and holding me back. The back door stood ajar, audibly beckoning with a faint whistle through the gaps. Peering inside, dust motes hung in the oppressive silence, trapped in the indifferent sunlight that bled through grimy panes. The interior was barren. An old staircase wounded its way upwards, its railing cracked and splintered like the bones of a long-dead creature. I swallowed, my throat dry with an unnameable anticipation and dread as I moved beyond the door. My feet crunched softly on the debris-strewn floor. Each step, tentative and deliberate, echoed interminably in the vast, forsaken space. And that's when I heard it, a soft hum weaving through the shadows, almost harmonious with the decay around me. Leaning in, I discerned an intermittent thumping sound. It joined the murmur, a layer of residual energy playing out in the solitude, beckoning me further in. Curiosity outweighing fear, I followed the sound toward thick double doors at the end of the left hallway. I stopped before them, heart pounding violently against the confines of my ribs. The hum turned clearer, the thump now a steady rhythm mimicking a heartbeat. Compelled, I reached for the tarnished door handle, letting it turn beneath my stiff fingers. The doors opened silently to reveal a room untouched by time, a dining room frozen mid-century. Dust covered the furniture like a velvet blanket, but it held a semblance of illusory warmth. The heartbeat rhythm resounded louder as I crossed the threshold. Closing my eyes to focus, I found myself temporarily adrift when a sensation, an icy, thin touch grazed my arm. Without thought, my eyes sprung open, catching a reflection in a tarnished glass cabinet. A gape-mouthed figure, its eyes non-existent voids, leaned over the old dining table. But in the blink of an eye, it was gone, leaving only the resonant hum in its wake. Breath short, heart ricocheting, I stumbled back, bumping against the edge of the table. And that's when I heard it again, a whisper, clearer this time, threading its way into my mind in an insistent chorus. Stay, stay, stay. Fear cascading into a steady fortissimo in my veins, I bolted, crashing through forgotten rooms, fleeing the breath that seemed to stalk me through every winding corridor. Outside, the dying sunlight bruised the sky as if in sympathy with my terror. I didn't stop running until the front porch of my own house held me firmly in its embrace. And still, I felt it, curdling beneath my skin, the unwavering sensation that something had followed me across that accursed threshold. The whispers traced their fingers through my waking hours and long into fitful, haunted sleep. That night I dreamed of that house more vividly than I had seen it in daylight. In my mind, time had reverted, the house restored, alive with shadows. Figures danced in and out of the rooms, obscure, once joyful visages now marred with expressions of dread. The faceless form from the dining room featured prominently, guiding me through past scenes. A woman with weeping eyes beckoned from a kitchen. A child with hollowed cheeks cried endlessly in an upstairs room. My dream self edged ever closer, watching helplessly as each spirit succumbed in seamless sequence to an unseen menace lurking, laughing amongst them. I woke in mutual horror and clarity, feeling the hypothesis take seed. They remained tethered to the mortal realm by a cruel mimicry of life, a dance they could never quit. And from somewhere deep within that hollow husk of a home, the whispering shadows called out desperately for release. Resolved, come morning, I made my way back over, ignoring the chill in the air or the disapproving rustle of the wind. I was inexplicably drawn back, a moth to that shadowed flame. The doors yielded to me once more. The air seemed heavier, electric with the tension of the scene left unexplored. As I re-entered the dining room, the atmosphere felt charged with expectancy. The room lay unchanged, the table still a suspended relic of interrupted communion. I spoke into that silence, clumsily offering whatever solace my presence could manage, trying to not ignore both the strain in my voice and the surrounding energy winding tighter with every word. It was during this heartfelt but strange monologue that the shadows began to stir in earnest. A flurry of movement caught my eye. Before the table, the air shimmered as figures half-formed and faded, playing out sequences of familial actions, a spectral replay of life, their expressions of anguish imprinted across ethereal features. One figure separated and moved to stand behind me, a boy, translucent and silent. His eyes, hollow and pleading, sent a visceral hush draping over my soul. "We're lost," his voice emerged, ghost tremors in the cold air. "Tell us how to leave and rest." The room swirled. Shadows mingled, overlapping, demonstrating the containment, entwined with memory and decay. This wasn't just a haunting, it was a holding pen, a repeating cycle perpetuating despair. Struggling to gather coherent thought while facing this tragic theater, some primal instinct surged to the forefront. I claimed aloud their ownership to the memories and comfort, urging them to carry nothing into the next phase, to believe a deeper peace waited beyond the threshold of this world. The energies pulsated, building into a crescendo, then resolving in a sudden, clarifying silence like the eye of a storm. One by one, the shadows drifted away, faces lifting to a new light, stepping into unseen currents beyond perception. That final whisper brushed past, matching peace and longing. "Thank you." As the last of them slipped away, the house shuddered as if exhaling a drawn-out breath of relief. It seemed suddenly lighter, the oppressive malaise that had suffocated those halls dissipating into the void. Without the weight of restless spirits, the air sung with a different harmony, threading through the cracks and lifting the oppressive gloom. In the razor-thin space between worlds, I had witnessed the longing cries of souls anchored unjustly by earthen chains. Now liberated, the place seemed resigned to the emptiness intrinsic to its design, as kindling and timber inscribed beneath forgotten marks of time. The whispers have not returned since that day. By letting go, they found release and left behind the silence that now fills the house. Sometimes I see kids stare at it from my window, maybe wondering at the enigma within. But I simply watch quietly, a smile deepening in my heart, knowing the door I gingerly opened once remained not of darkness binding, but of light freeing those who had long ceased to wander this side of the veil.